Last year, Nathan Lamont released his debut single, Drink You Up. Then he was named a grand finalist in this year's Toyota Star Maker competition, the second time he has been a grand finalist. He recently appeared on the single My Favorite Summer with Loren Ryan, and he has a new single of his own, Skin to Skin. And I'm looking forward to talking to him about pretty much all of it. Hi, Nathan.
Hey Sophie, how you going?
I'm very well, thank you. And we spoke after you released Drink You Up last year, and that was your re-entry into music. So you've been a few years away from it for good reason. You have a young family, you were working full time. And it feels to me, as an observer, that you've been gaining momentum since Drink You Up was released. Does it feel like that to you?
I think so. I think it's tough, when you haven't been doing something for a very long time, or perhaps it's your first time doing something. Like for me, it was the first time releasing a song. You just don't know what to expect, and I was actually quite surprised and overwhelmed by the response to my debut single. I think you always hope going into anything that you'll do well, but I thought a couple of thousand streams, or even just a couple of radio interviews, and a couple of people just coming up to me on the street in Tamworth would be, probably where it stopped. But it seemed to just explode from there. So the countless people that have come up to me in the streets of Tamworth and commented on the song and commented on my performance in Star Maker, and just the streams as well, getting to the 150,000, is incredible. So it's beyond what I could have imagined, and all that is doing is really just giving me fuel for the fire, and obviously I'm just keen to release more and more music.
And I guess, the timing of releasing that song, of you deciding to recommit to music in quite a substantial way, was influenced by a whole lot of factors. And I suppose, we could go into the slightly mystical side of it and think that was the timing exactly right, that actually you arrived when you were meant to. I'm wondering if it was a decision that felt right to you at the time, or it was just, this is the first opportunity I have to put it out?
Um, I think it's a couple of factors. Yeah, I think at the time I had the resources. I think growing up financially disadvantaged in a lot of ways. I think I had to work really hard for a lot of years to build up the resources. No one was going to hand me anything. And pay for anything other than myself. So I think that that's probably a layer. I think it was also just waiting for a time with which I had enough self belief and was able to remove all the doubt in my mind, or even just the worry or the concern that I'd held for a lot of years, and of just rejection. I don't really talk about that often, but I think when you I suppose the longer you let something slide, the more doubt you create in your mind, or the more thought. The process of thinking really just kind of it gets buried deeper and deeper down inside of you, and just kind of find a way to avoid that feeling or emotion, or just oppress it. I don't really want that. It's not really what I'm wanting. So I think I tricked myself in a lot of years for thinking I just wasn't good enough, or perhaps I didn't have what it takes, and I believed that at the time. But turning 30 kind of really made me reevaluate where I was going in life, and whether I was content with the decisions I was making. And it just dawned on me, that it's not really for anyone else other than myself. So what am I trying to prove to anyone else? This is something that I want to do, and to just kind of not care. Like, I think I had to get to the point where I didn't care what other people thought about me, and what my music sounds like, and just go for it. And if I enjoy it, then hopefully the audience will. So that's kind of the point I had to reach mentally anyway, before I was ready to go out there and embrace all the hurdles of being a muso, which there are countless. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's also partly about being seen, I guess, because you're a performer. So you can, when you have all that doubt, it's loading up on that it's not just about releasing music, it's actually being in front of an audience, and all those times you can do the self-talk away from that. Because I think, yes, as you said, the further you get away from it, the more reasons you're coming up with to not do it. It's a big thing to get up there in front of an audience. Like, every time I see a performer, I just think, man, that is actually really hard to do. And when someone makes it look easy the way you make it look easy, I know that there's so much work behind it, but it looks
Yeah.
effortless.
I think, and like it's all about, well, my experience has just been the mentality. I think if you go into it, you know, and I can speak from the point of view of Star Maker. The last time I went in Star Maker, I was very young. I was like 18, 19. And I placed so much pressure on myself to perform well, and to win. You know, I think, you know, we all want to win Star Maker. That's why you enter. And I placed so much pressure on myself to win at that time that I only got in my own way. You know, I kind of let myself down. But this time round, I found that with a little bit of life experience and, you know, having other things at play and you know, having songs that I've yet to release, you know, being penned and ready to go after Star Maker, I felt like regardless of the outcome of Star Maker, I knew that I was on the right path and whatever happened in Star Maker wouldn't deter me. And I think going in with that mentality meant that I could take the pressure off, because you know, it wasn't the be all and end all. As much as winning would have been lovely, I knew that I'd really set a goal, and regardless of the outcome, I was going to achieve it. So I think the mentality going into it with that kind of you know, mindset, you know, being determined and being prepared, but also not placing that pressure on yourself to win, that meant everything. So I could just go out and enjoy it this time around, and actually just soak it all in without thinking, oh, I need to win, and not prove it to anyone. You know, I think I wanted to prove it to everyone that I had what it takes to win. But I think for me this time around, I went in there going, you know, I'm just going to enjoy the experience, meet everyone that I possibly can, say hello to everyone that I possibly can, and walk away, you know, at least having, you know, really strong connections and relationships with those people that I've met, and utilizing those connections into the future in my work with, you know, in the music industry. So and I achieved that. So I did win, you know. I didn't take home the prize, but I took home a lot more, which is some lifelong muso friends, and just the memories that I'll have being up on the stage once more and feeling that magic that I'd felt all those years ago.
Yeah. I remember when I heard you were announced as one of those grand finalists, I thought, he does not muck around. Like, he's released a single, he's already in Star Maker grand final. So it was
Yeah.
obviously a decision, you know, like that you wanted to give it a shot, because you could have waited another year and maybe you will enter again. But, you know, why did you feel like, yes, I'm going to do it now?
Well, I actually can't enter Star Maker again because they've got a 3-time limit. So I knew it would be my last time. But in saying that, you know, I think the reason that I'd entered was really because I felt like I'd put in the hard yards in the last 12 months. I knew that regardless of the outcome, I could at least demonstrate that I was working hard towards not just winning Star Maker, but having you know, a long and prosperous career in country music, and to demonstrate that hard work. I think that, you know, I'd really set out to also utilize the connections that you could make through Star Maker, and the platform that the Star Maker competition creates for every artist that enters. You know, really all eyes are on Star Maker every year at the festival, because people are interested in what new talent's coming through, and they want to be on board at the beginning, you know. So I think Star Maker, you know, is a great opportunity regardless of the outcome, like I said before, but it's just the exposure and the awareness that it builds around particular artists. You know, we're seeing successful artists right now that are doing amazing things on Australian Idol, for example, Denver, who's in the top 10, who didn't win Star Maker, but she's doing exceptionally well on that show, and she's built such a big following from that. And, you know, we've seen Andrew Swift go on to win several gold guitars following his time in Star Maker. So, and I think that, you know, his time in Star Maker opened many doors, and I think that he didn't need a win to really become successful. That was all within him at the end of the day. So, I just wanted to utilize the opportunity of Star Maker to create that platform, and, you know, I suppose awareness around my music, and the opportunity to get up on the big stage at the festival, of course, and sing in front of Tamworth. So.
And I went to the final in 2022 when it was midweek and I could make it, and it was such an amazing operation to witness it going on. And I did love that there were so many people in Bicentennial Park to see it, because it's a big crowd. I love that people turn out to see emerging talent. It is an important part of the festival. But your Star Maker connection continued with Loren Ryan. So not only have you released a single with her, but I saw you share the stage with her at Moonshiners during the festival, and it was such a great show. I think everyone that kind of walked out high on the energy of the whole thing. And so you kicked it off, and then you later joined her on stage. You look like you were thoroughly enjoying yourself.
Look, I was, and I felt at home on stage with Loren. Like, she's been, a really close friend of mine for many years. Our friendship goes back through the talent development project days when we were both teenagers in high school, and performing in the school spectacular together as well. So Loren and I, we've kind of crossed paths musically, for a very long time. And I was really blessed with the opportunity to perform on her new single because, I hadn't released much at the time. Like, I'd only released Drink You Up. So the fact that she kind of entrusted me, with singing on one of her singles meant the world. Because it's, I felt like I had to bring something to the to the table as well, because it really is an opportunity for me at the end of the day to be singing with the at the time reigning star maker, and I felt like I'd had very little kind of to bring on my end, because she's doing amazing things. But and that's why I really felt blessed, is because at the end of the day, Loren's already established herself in the country scene, and she was nominated for a Golden Guitar, and here I am, releasing my first song a couple of months before and just kind of finding my feet, and she's already getting me to sing on one of her songs. So it meant the world. It really did. And, the song's an absolute banger. I said yes before I had even heard the song because I just knew that whatever she presented me with was going to be amazing. And it was. So I encourage everyone to go out. If you haven't streamed My Favorite Summer yet, make sure you do, because it is a banger. And I think it's, it's one of those things that I'll cherish for the rest of my life.
I've certainly had it on repeat when I'm not playing your latest single. You also made a video with Loren, which I thought was definitely done because the two of you were in separate places because she lives in Tamworth and you live in Wagga. So I watched the video, thought that was really well done, having to manage two artists who were not in the same spot.
Exactly. Yeah. I did my best at acting. I'm terrible at acting, but it was my first music video too. So it was a new experience. Obviously, I intend on doing some music videos for my own songs too. But it was nice to be thrown into the deep end because you either sink or swim, and I felt like I did a good job at swimming. And my wife and I were watching the video for the first time here at home, and I don't like watching videos of myself on a good day, so I was trying not to cringe too much at my performance. Loren was amazing, of course. She's a natural. My wife and I were like,
Was that, and you said you were swimming in the video, as in like single swim, but there was water in it, so that was a bit of was that Wagga Beach you were at?
Yeah, it's just on the Wiradjuri down here in Wagga. So, really important watering hole for our mob, and a place that's very special. I mean, I grew up, on the Wiradjuri and jumping off tire swings and God knows jumping into what at the time, because it's a very dangerous river. But yeah, I had a lot of memories floating down that river, so it was good to do it here at home. And Loren obviously doing it on her end up in Tamworth. So I think we both felt comfortable, obviously, by the fact that we were able to do it in our hometowns. And my good mate Luke Chisholm, who's been doing all my other cover arts and photographs, I roped him into doing the video on this end. So I felt quite comfortable at the time, kind of roaming the streets of Wagga. At one point, I was walking down over the bridge at the Wiradjuri Lagoon, and had some randoms calling out to me as I was doing the video. We had to take a second take. I think they yelled out some sort of absurd, comments, because there's not much like that happening here in Wagga. Not a lot.
I was about to say, yeah, not too many music videos being filmed. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was quite funny, but we made it work.
Well, I mean, you and Loren do match each other, I think, vocally as well as energy-wise in that show. And I was looking at thinking, gee, I hope they think about touring at some stage. I don't know when you both fit it in, but it would be a really good match to tour the two of you together.
Yeah, actually, I hadn't even thought of that idea. I'll have
take
to
it, run with it
after we talk.
Well, I
That's
just
a really
think,
good idea, actually. Lauren, let me go on tour with you. Yeah, or vice versa.
well, exactly. But I just think it's not just about the vocal match, it is about the energy match. It's about the intentions the two of you have as performers. I think that's why the audience, as I said, everyone walked out high from that show. And because from the start to the finish, there was just that sense that the two of you really enjoy what you're doing and really enjoyed performing for an audience, especially, and having that connection with the audience.
Yeah, like and like the thing that I really that inspires me about Lauren and her music is it's just so deeply rooted into who she is, as a person, through obviously her language, but like she doesn't try to be anyone else other than herself, and there's no one like Lauren in the Australian country industry. So I think that that's what really inspires me about Lauren. I know that like because sometimes I find myself as well, and I find that I can't help, but I can't help but comparing myself to other people, not just here in Australia but around the world. And I know, and I do draw a lot of inspiration from a lot of different artists. But one of the things that I'm really trying to come to terms with is and it goes back to that seed of self doubt, trying to avoid those the worry of what other people think, and not trying to write to anyone, but writing from a place of authenticity. And I think Lauren is so good at doing that, and that's what really inspires me. And that's what everyone, it's what she showcased at her show. Is she's just so authentic, and it's just so refreshing. What you see is what you get with Lauren, and she's such a beautiful person too, inside and out. So it feels like she's like we're the same age. She's probably even slightly younger than me, but I feel like she's like a mama bear for me.
She has mama bear energy, and she was, there was a lot of talk
Yeah,
about the babies in the room. So
yeah,
like it was
yeah,
definitely a mama bear energy show. But
yeah.
I'd already heard you recorded by that stage, and thought what a fantastic voice you have. But it was seeing you live that I really got how amazing your voice is, and it did make me think about the fact that we don't really prize great vocals the way we might have like a couple of generations ago. There's a lot of emphasis on songwriting, which is fantastic. But as someone who loves music, and I really think I just respond instinctually to great singers. So I was there with both of you, actually, both of your sets, just thinking, well, this is just such a treat. And again, I think that really added to how enjoyable the whole gig was. But I'm wondering how you think of yourself as, whether it's as an artist, as a singer primarily, as a singer-songwriter, and whether like singer for you is an important identity.
Yeah, absolutely. To hit the nail on the head. I mean, you hit the nail on the head in your question. I think singing for me is has always been a really big part of my identity. I think a lot of the, particularly growing up, I think a lot of my self-esteem as a young person was solely centered around my singing, and that's where my sense of worth and self-esteem was pretty much sitting, because in every other way my life was chaotic. And not to dwell on the negatives, but that's just the truth. My life was very chaotic in every other way. So um for me, singing has always grounded me and given me a sense of hope throughout life. And that was just something that came to me naturally. Songwriting has been something I've had to fight for,
Mhm.
and I'm fighting for it every day. So it's something that I'm developing still, particularly lyrics, I think. But singing and melodies, I can hear so many melodies in my head, throughout the day. I can constantly come up with melodies without any kind of difficulty, but it's just attaching the right lyric that represents the melodic phrase or the music in the right way. So for me, singing has probably been the foundation of everything that I've achieved. And I learnt to play the guitar because I could sing, not the other way around. I didn't learn to sing because I could play the guitar. So singing has always been kind of at the foundation of everything that I've achieved, and all the goals that I've set. Doing the singing talent quest circuit before I could write songs, and then eventually kind of moving into songwriting, and then eventually just singing for years in wedding, corporate, cover
Yeah, right.
bands. So, singing's always been the focus, but songwriting is working its way in there, and I'm getting stronger the more I use that muscle.
So it interests me that you do worry about the lyric side of it, because what you've just talked about, that you have melodies that come to you, I would think that's so rare and so it's so hard. Like I can't imagine coming up with a melody. It would just completely confound me. You know, I could write words till the cows come home. So I would think that's a particular skill, and therefore, you know, because I know you've co-written Skin to Skin with your latest single with Robbie Mortimer. It's like, is there not a part of you that thinks, well, hey, I'm really great at this melody stuff. Someone else can do the lyrics, and I don't necessarily have to worry about that.
Yeah, like, I mean, you know, I think you've got to, yeah, play to your strengths and recognize when there's someone else that complements your abilities. And I think that having guys like Robbie, you know, Robbie Mortimer, and the other musos that I've been writing with throughout the year, having those along for my songwriting is only strengthening my lyrics side of things, but also they, you know, like with Robbie in particular, something that he was struggling with isn't lyrics. He's a poet. He's really good with lyrics. It's more the melodic phrasings and things like that. So I think that's what's been really great about my kind of, you know, music relationship with Robbie is that we do complement one another, and that's why I think we've found a good space, you know, working together. As if I'm stuck on something lyrically, he's there to help unlock that, and vice versa with the melodies for his songs. So with Skin to Skin, you know, that was a song that I kind of had taken to Robbie, you know, pretty well like established in terms of melodies, and you know, the chorus, I think I had the lyrics in the chorus, and I think it was just some bursting, you know, verses that we had to work on together, and that was about it. Like, so I definitely have the words there, but I think I'm also trying to write more than just about love and kind of, you know, cheeky spins on kind of feelings and experiences, because as much as I love that, I do want to write with a bit more depth as well, so that you know, I can go into the more difficult moments of my life.
Yeah, and my previous question was actually a way of saying, Nathan, I think you're being too hard on yourself. It's like, I think it's if you can write melodies, like, man, that's the whole enchilada. So for some people, I just think it's a great skill to have. But and also if we think about the Bertie Taupin Elton John combo, well, of course, Bertie did Luke. So maybe you and Robbie, just suggesting like this. Elton John,
Well,
Bertie Taupin kind of thing.
and Andrew Farris and Michael Hutchinson in
There you
excess.
go.
You know, another good example right there. So
Just don't worry about the lyrics. Let Rory take care of them.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like, yeah, and that's been the beauty of co-writing. I think that's what's really unlocked my sense of confidence in writing. And yeah, I was petrified going into that first session with Robbie. But you know, being such a great guy, you know, I felt really comfortable and quite open to share ideas around lyrics, because there's nothing worse than throwing a lyric out there that you think's absolute, you know, absolutely terrible. You just throw it out there, and I've gotten to the point now where I can just throw words out there, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. That we've both got the same goal, and that's to write a hit song, you know. So
Yeah.
you know, we you know, kind of workshop lyrics every now and then. Maybe I'll say, you know, one or two words that'll trigger another line entirely, you know. So it's just about unlocking those ideas through throwing random stuff out there, which is something that I've learned how to do, and having the confidence to do that, because it's quite vulnerable sharing an idea,
Yeah.
you know, particularly with people that you haven't worked with before. I find that once you've worked with someone the first time and you understand how each other communicate, and you don't feel judged, you know, it's a lot easier. But you know, I still come across people that I feel a little bit insecure around, and you know, it's just working through it.
As you said, you'd like to be able to write songs about your upbringing, and about the difficulties in your childhood. You were part of a very large family, and it was a disparate family at times, by the sound of it. And music has been, as you said, that through line. So I would imagine there are a lot of stories there, and they probably would be best served by you being able to tell them in the words you want to use.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and I think that's been my biggest challenge up until this point, is trying to find the right words. You know, because I definitely have stories that I can tell, and I'm sure that my experiences will resonate with other people out there that have shared or similar experiences. And it's just finding the right words, or saying it in a way that you know, that effectively communicates those experiences, or even in a unique way as well. Because it's one thing to say a lot, like, you know, to say something literally, but you know, you want to invoke that same emotion that you felt through your lyricism. It's also it's a form of poetry. So I think it's trying to find that the poetry in the in the experience, and you know, and the visuals as well, because we're all visual people, and some of the best songs that I love are the most visual. So I think it's trying to find that, you know, in a clever kind of way. That's the biggest challenge, and I think that's probably the challenge that all songwriters have at the end of the day.
And you said you don't necessarily want to keep writing love songs, but Drink You Up and Skin to Skin are both songs about your wife, and they're positive love songs. They're not, why doesn't she like me anymore? You know, she's taken off, my heart's broken. I think that's part of the great appeal of them, is that they're these really positive songs to put out into the world, when a lot of love songs don't have that just complete joy in another person, I think, is what I hear in those songs. The joy you get from your wife.
Yeah, well, and that's, you know, some people might say, oh, you know, drink you up. What does that really mean? Or, you know, there's not a lot of depth in the lyrics. And I would agree in some ways, but like, I suppose at the end of the day, you know, I actually do feel like there's a lot of authenticity in those songs, because it is based on my relationship with my wife. And I think that, you know, you're right. I think at the end of the day, they're very upbeat and positive, and that's just been my headspace for the past, particularly since we've had kids as well. Like, I think, you know, it's easy to get it's easy to get or to feel negative about situations that when you're sleep deprived and you're not getting enough time with one another. But, you know, I find that in general, I'm a fairly optimistic, positive person. So I try and put a positive spin on everything, even if things aren't like, you know, I'm far from perfect, and so is my wife. We're both not perfect. She's pretty close, and, you know, I hope to be as close as her as one day. But, you know, like and I actually say that in Skin to Skin too. You know, nobody's perfect. But, you know, at the end of the day, as long as we've got each other, then nothing really matters. You know, nothing else matters. So that's kind of the theme of the song. But, you know, it's also open for interpretation as to how people want to kind of, you know, what they want to take away from the song as well. But yeah, it's just the place I'm at right now is a good place, and how could it not be when I'm kind of releasing music for the first time in my life and living the dream?
Yeah. And it sounds like more music to come, because, as you said, around that Star Maker competition, you wanted to have some songs written, and it sounds like you and Robbie have been writing, and you've been writing with other people.
Yeah.
So do you have like a little brace of songs tucked under there that you've actually recorded already, or are you just making plans to record?
Yeah, there's songs that have been tracked with instruments that just need the vocals done, like the you know, the proper vocals done for, and then just mixed and mastered. So there's songs that are pretty much almost ready to go. There's songs in the demo stage that I'm really confident I'll release. And the songs that I'm writing at the moment that have yet to be demoed, or that I've written at the moment that have yet to be demoed, that I'm also pretty confident that I'll release. So there's definitely a number of songs that I'll be releasing throughout the year. And I think for those songs that I don't release as a single, I'll definitely chuck on an EP by the end of the year or at the beginning of next year, just so I can get as much out there as possible, obviously, because I know people are screaming that they want more, so I just want to give them what they want.
I'm one of those people, Nathan, so hurry up with it. But you are releasing other sorts of musical offerings on TikTok. Now, you had a recent TikTok video that had 1.2 million views. So what do you think the secret of your success was?
Yeah, look, I think just understanding a little bit about how the algorithm of TikTok works and targeting your content to a particular demographic. So obviously my target demographic is country fans. I think my followers on TikTok are like 85% female. So a lot of my videos are targeted at that 18 to 45, 50 demographic female. Kind of like my music, just lighthearted videos that kind of play, poke fun, or just kind of highlight certain traits about women's taste in country music, which is just an observation, just a generalization. you know, there's a song by Kerry Underwood that every girl just knows on the planet knows the words to, and that's the video, for example, that went viral. It's just asking the women of the world what it is about, you know, before he cheats that resonates with them the most, and then singing along to the song in the car. So
Right.
that you know, those sing along in the car videos seem to be the videos that do the best on TikTok. So you know, a lot of my videos are kind of me in the car just singing to the, the camera, whether it's real or you know, or me just miming. And people seem to, you know, that seems to resonate with people, or people at least watching it. So you know, if they're watching it, then great. I'll keep doing more, and you know, doing videos that people enjoy watching. That's kind of what I'm all about, and also sprinkling in there my own music. And I've had videos that have done really well too, featuring my own music too, which is kind of, you know, reaffirming that I'm on the right path, and lots of great feedback. You know, I've had videos not quite 1.2 million views, but you know, a couple of 100,000 with, you know, thousands of comments saying that they like my music, and that's awesome, you know. So I try and get back to every single person, and you know, tell them I've got more music coming, so stick around.
And I've got to say, while you keep putting out love songs about your wife, I think you will have a lot of female listeners, because it is really lovely for a female audience to hear that, as I said, the joy in those songs, because a lot of love songs that are around don't have it. And it's almost an unadulterated joy. So yeah, I think that's just to say I understand where the 85% comes from. But also in terms of TikTok views, it is a separate skill set for an artist to learn how to do that well. So congratulations, because I think there are many people on TikTok who are trying to work out how to do it like that. And it's fantastic, because it does bring you a bigger audience.
Yeah, look, it does work. The proof's in the pudding. I think it for me is trying to integrate those targeted videos that you know will go viral, and blending that with the videos with your featuring your own music. And that's what I'm trying to work at the moment, is just making sure that the videos that feature my music kind of are the focus of my account. I don't want to be known as the guy that sings along to Kerry Underwood videos in the car. Obviously, that's not kind of where I want to end up in life, but you know, if people are enjoying those videos, then I can work in my own songs and get the opportunity to share with them my own songs, then that's the ultimate goal. So that, you know, obviously as many ears across the world can hear it, and hopefully, you know, they can enjoy it as well.
Mm-hmm. Now, at the time we're talking, you are about to head off to Orange for, I think it's Orange, for a night in Nashville. When this video, when this interview airs, that'll be past. But I'm curious about a night in Nashville, because it seems like it's Australian artists performing American songs, and it's in Orange.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, enough said.
No,
it's,
in fact, I realized that was not really a question, Nathan. That was just a statement.
It is, yeah. Like, you know, there's a fantastic lineup, and I feel really blessed to be a part of this festival, because I mean, it's, you know, I've been calling it a festival because it feels like a festival. Like, we've
Yeah, it
got
does.
5 artists each night, and you know, on the first night you've got Paul Costa and Max Jackson, obviously, is just one to go on guitar, and you've got Jared Wrigley, and you've got Megan Woods, who's a Orange local. So fantastic lineup. Ryan Mead as well. And then on the Saturday, you got Robbie Mortimer, my good mate. You've got myself, Claudia Tripp, who's killing it at the moment as well, Hustle and Heart, and you've got the name escapes me right now, Tyler Rodriguez, who's incredible. You know, everyone's amazing, and we're bringing you Nashville, because obviously the flights to Nashville right now are ridiculous, but you know, we're bringing Nashville to you. So our sets are all tailored towards the Nashville sound, and there's line dancing and mechanical bull, and there's, you know, plenty of bevies and stalls and whatnot. So I think it's got everything. It's got the true taste of Nashville, and everyone's going to be donning their best Nashville attire, and obviously dusting off the boots, and you know, going along and having a great time, and full production. So everyone's got a band mostly. So it's going to be a hell of a time. I'm really looking forward to it, because I haven't really had a lot of opportunities to play strictly country festivals. So you know, it's always been just the pub down the road, or you know. So like, I'm really looking forward to it, and you know, just catching up with some muso friends too.
Well, you and Robbie may fit in some more writing while you're there.
Oh, look, I hope so. He's such a busy guy these days, and he's actually based in Newcastle now, so it's locking him down. He's just on the climb, which is great to see, and just inspires me even more. So, I think it'd be great to catch up with him again because I've been fortunate enough to catch up with him in Tamworth. So to catch up with him so soon after Tamworth is going to be great as well. We talk to each other almost, every day, but I think just there's something about, and we're actually singing a song together on stage too. So really looking forward to that because Robbie, like I said in previous interview, he was really the person that kind of triggered that within me this time last year to just go for it. He's going for it, harder than anyone else at the moment, and I think that's who I want to be.
And apart from the tour that you and Loren are going to put together as soon as you get off this interview, I'm wondering what else you have planned for the rest of the year, gig-wise, or because I know festivals you can't necessarily announce, and
Yeah.
it's going to get onto them anyway. Are you thinking of that, or are you more focused on the writing and the recording and releasing?
Yeah, well both. I definitely need. So I'm planning a single launch for June for my third single release here in Wagga, hometown advantage. I just want to fill an audience, and Wagga seems to be the most logical place for that. So I'm planning a single launch for June here in Wagga. So if you're around at that time, look out because I will be plugging that on my socials soon. And I've actually got a trip to WA coming up in the next few months too for the Wiradjuri National Park experience over there. So just locked that in today actually. So that's pretty exciting. Looking forward to that. And I've also got a few other things that I can't announce yet. But yeah, plenty of songs coming out this year. I'll be releasing every few months. So you'll get sick of me by the end of the year. Hopefully not, but
I don't think so, Nathan. I don't think so at all. But in the meantime, we have Skin to Skin, and we also have your single with Loren, and we have Drink You Up, your first single from last year. So that'll have to keep us going in the meantime. But once again, what a great pleasure to talk to you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure, Sophie. I feel like we have really in-depth conversations too, so I appreciate the opportunity to come on.